Well, against all odds, small business owners have remained resilient through this challenging year, according to a new Bank of America survey. My guest for this episode is Sharon Miller, and she's head of small business at Bank of America. Nice to talk with you again, Sharon.
It's great to be here, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Well, to the 2020 Bank of America Small Business Owner Report, a study exploring the concerns, aspirations, and perspectives of more than 1,000 small business owners across the country. Entrepreneurs remain resilient and flexible as they navigate, it seems, an evolving business landscape brought on by this health crisis. What say you?
You know, it is, entrepreneurs have remained resilient and flexible. And then you're right, more than 4 in 5 small businesses stayed open in some capacity throughout the shutdowns. And so some of this was because they were an essential business. In fact, 38% told us they were an essential business and why they stayed open. And the other piece is that many retooled their operations. And in fact, that was nearly 1/4 took steps to do that and leveraged business resources to support relief efforts. So, it is the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well. And we certainly have seen this during 2020.
Well, the small business owner's economic outlook, concerns and growth expectations, along with the role to access to capital, has played in helping business owners navigate the pandemic. What does the road to recovery, do you think, look like for entrepreneurs?
Well, entrepreneurs are, and small business is the backbone of the U.S. economy. And what they told us was that, once this crisis subsides, that entrepreneurs will be leading us out of it. And that's 79% of them told us this, and that they would return to be the true backbone of the U.S. economy. The other thing that they told us during the survey is that they felt that consumers are going to have much more appreciation for small business. In fact, 69% told us that. So when you think about the road to recovery and the path forward, they're also thinking about how would they handle and be better prepared in the future for some reemergence of coronavirus or some other type of health crisis. And that was 59%. Because, when you think about 2019, we never would have anticipated anything like this happening. And so, the potential for reemergence and being prepared, I think, has really topped the list of what's on entrepreneurs' minds.
Well, Sharon, let's have a look, if you will, some key findings, from the Bank of America 2020 Small Business Owner Report. Now, business owners remain flexible and resilient. 85% stayed open, as you say. 78% say that their day-to-day operations were impacted, and 24% of business owners retooled operations. Cash flow access, your baby. What's happening there?
Well, access to capital is so important, and it remained crucial during the pandemic. So more than 2 in 5 told us that they applied for at least one type of loan specifically to address coronavirus. And a third said that they had applied for the Paycheck Protection Program. At Bank of America, we supported the program and distributed 345,000 individual PPP loans to small businesses across the country, and more than $26 billion in capital. So when you think about this bridge to the other side, that program was specifically to keep people employed and keep businesses open and operating so that when they can reopen, if they were, forced closed or whatever their situation, that they would be here on the other side.
And some of the top economic concerns in reading this survey for business owners in the year ahead, it seems that the political environment, 78%, the impact of the coronavirus, 75%, healthcare costs up at 62%, and consumer spending, 56%. So the path forward looks like what to you?
Well, you're right. There is a guarded business and economic outlook, and rightly so. We have seen a year like no other. And when we took the survey, it was in August, September timeframe. So this was, the election had not happened yet. And anytime we come into an election cycle, we do see uncertainty and concern. And so that is a concern on people's mind. Once the election passes, whether it's a Democrat or Republicans in office, it's their certainty, so confidence usually is restored. the other piece is, the vaccine was not out there when we took this survey.
Mm.
And so I think, post-election, post-vaccine, and getting that distribution out, I do feel that the path forward is a bit brighter. I still think we've got, a long way to go. It's not going to happen overnight. And you're right. I mean, there are real issues out there that we have to help. And that's why we are here, to be an advisor and a trusted partner to business owners across the country.
Can you speak about the role that small businesses played in supporting local communities throughout this pandemic?
Well, 51% told us that they had donated their time or products or services to assist in relief efforts. And, that's where small business really comes together with our local communities. Small business is local. And so they are absolutely out there supporting efforts. And, in turn, I think it's important that we as consumers are supporting our small business, especially during this holiday season. It is so important that we are helping them in this path to recovery.
Well, there's been much discussion around business owners accessing capital, taking out loans during the pandemic. I mean, other than the obvious, can you explain why access to capital is so critical for small business owners?
Well, it's, during this pandemic, this access to capital, it gave them the ability to keep employees on payroll while maintaining their operating expenses. And so, this was something very unusual. And, as I think about our business at Bank of America, where we also support, dentists, doctors. In fact, 40% of all the dental practices in the U.S. bank with us. And so, that is an industry that you would never think would be impacted by any type of, issue or recession.
Mm.
People go to the dentist, they go to the doctor. But, when you have forced closures like that, you don't have any revenues coming in. So again, going into this pandemic, we know our clients, we work with our clients, and we want to be here for our clients. And I do believe that, capital and the ability to sustain operations is so important, and especially in something like this crisis that we've been through. So all the stimulus was important, and the ability for us to work with clients has been key as we see the recovery with our own clients.
Well, Sharon, what are some resources that you would recommend to business owners as they think about accessing a capital and managing their cash flow?
Well, I think it's important that, as you look back, and as you plan ahead, it's always important to have, emergency funds, just like you would for your individual, operation of your home and your individual accounts. You want to have that for your business as well. And I do think it's important to do that planning. And as you plan ahead, having a line of credit, having a loan if you're going to expand. Even in today's environment, I had a client meetings all day yesterday and talked to so many business owners of different industries. And this is truly industry by industry, where, we have clients that, they have 3 bakeries in New York City, and they've retooled. They had, the first couple of months, it was very frightening. They didn't know what to do. All the weddings had canceled.
Yeah.
And now what they're doing is online cooking classes, and busier than ever, and moving to micro cakes and teaching people how to do that. So, it's just so interesting. I think no one went without some sort of, area of the country or industry where, travel, obviously, restaurants were hit hard.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you've got others where, we're working from home, and we've got online graphic designers, digital people. They need to hire employees. So it's just really business by business and industry by industry.
Well, Sharon, marvelous job. Look, in closing, over the next year, what are your top planning tips for small business owners who are on the road to recovery?
Well, I think that, as far as entrepreneurs, I think it's always important that you're planning ahead, that you are, retooling, that you're continuing to be flexible. And I think that that's the most important thing that you can do. And think about how can you, if you've been impacted, how can you now bring a new tool, a new product, a new service to market where you can be, busier than ever that you didn't think about in the past. So I do think it's important. The other piece is digital. mean, many people in all of our surveys in the past have talked about the importance of digital. 25% in this study told us that they have immediately moved to digital and online only. So all of these capabilities are so important that you can do business virtually. I think it's very important as we restore the health of the country. And people need to feel safe. And I think investing in ways to help your clients feel safe, it's always a good idea.
Well, as usual, great advice from Sharon Miller, Head of Small Business at Bank of America. And more about the Bank of America that you can go online. What is the website, the best one for listeners to go to, business people to go to as well?
It's bankofamerica.com/small business.
There we go. Fantastic. Thank you, Sharon. Take care. Try and have a peaceful and happy time over the holidays, and we'll talk again in the future.
Thanks so much, Mark. I appreciate it.
You got it. Sharon Miller, ladies and gentlemen, her team is responsible, for providing more than 12 million plus business owner clients a full range of financial products and services through the Bank of America's network of approximately, 4,300 financial centers and 16,600 ATMs, an award-winning digital banking platform. There we go. You heard it here on The Mark Bishop Show. I look forward to seeing you again.